What's up guys, welcome back to Ty's Rides. So a lot of people ask me, friends, people on social media hit me up. They're like, hey Ty, I wanna get into cycling. What kind of bike should I get? And the first question I usually ask them is, well, what kind of riding do you think you wanna do? If they tell me that they're not really sure, they may wanna do some road riding, some paved trail riding, maybe some dirt, light trail riding, I usually steer them towards getting an all-road or gravel bike. Now, before I get too far into this video, I gotta give a shout out to the homeboy, Cobra Kyle. A few months back, Cobra Kyle put out a under $2,000 gravel bike video. He took 6 gravel bikes that were under $2,000. He talked about those bikes, what he liked, what he didn't, and I thought that was an awesome video. So this video is inspired by the video that he put out. And guys, if you have not yet checked out Cobra Kyle's YouTube channel, you have got to go give his channel a look because for one, the content is awesome, and for two, the dude is freaking hilarious. So go check out his channel, and I'll link it in the description below, and go subscribe. But I took 5 gravel bikes under $2,000 from 5 of the biggest companies in the United States. Before I get into these 5 bikes, one thing that they do have in common is they all come with 700C wheels, and they all have disc brakes. Without further ado, the first bike on the list is a bike from Kona. Kona is a Canadian company. They started out making mountain bikes. Within the last 7 or 8 years, they've started to get into the gravel bike, adventure bike genre or niche, whatever you want to call it. So the Kona Libre, 1,800 bucks. This is an aluminum frame with a carbon fork. Now you may have heard of the Libre before because Kona's been making this bike in a carbon version for a long time that's much more expensive. And the thing that I love about this bike is this is like Kona's race bike. This is a race bike, but can also be an adventure bike. And it's now finally affordable. You know, you don't have to have $5,000 to be riding a Libre. It comes with 45C wide WTB tires. That's a super fat tire. The bike also has all kinds of mounts all over it. So if you want to do some light touring in this bike, it's got tons of water bottle mounts, and you could actually put a rear rack on this bike because it has eyelets on the rear frame to where you can attach a rear rack on and do some light touring. So another thing I really like about this bike is that it uses a SRAM 1x11 Apex drivetrain. Now the other bikes on this list, they all use 2x drivetrains. With a 1x drivetrain, it's a little bit lighter, you're gonna save some weight, and you lose the risk of having issues with the front derailleur. With 1x drivetrains, you've basically got the same range of gears that you have on a 2x drivetrain. You're just gonna have bigger gaps in between those gears, if that makes sense. This bike does not have hydraulic disc brakes. It's got mechanical disc brakes. Overall though, it's really awesome to see Kona offering the Libre in an aluminum version. The next bike on this list is the Cannondale Topstone 1. Now, this is actually the most expensive bike on this list. It comes in at $1,950, but I think you're gonna find that it's a pretty sweet bike for that price. Cannondale is known for their awesome aluminum frames, really light, really great ride feel, and the iconic Cannondale CAD road bike series. They're great aluminum bikes. And with this bike, you get that great Cannondale aluminum frame, you get the carbon fork, but you get a full GRX group set. And this is the higher end GRX group set. And I love that. You also get hydraulic disc brakes. Now you guys, some of you may be asking, what's a GRX group set? GRX is Shimano's gravel specific group set. So right before Mid-South, I knew I had to do something. I knew it was gonna be muddy. So I had a Shimano GRX with a clutch rear derailleur installed onto my gravel bike, my Diverge, and that got me through Mid-South. So I am sold on the Shimano gravel specific GRX stuff, and this bike has it. It's got mounts all over it. Again, if you wanted to put a rear rack on this bike, it's got eyelets for that. You could do some light touring on this bike or probably even some heavy touring. And I really can't find anything I don't like about the bike. I honestly think it is one of the best, if not the best looking bike on this list as well. All right, so the next bike on the list, and a bike that I know a thing or two about, is the Specialized Diverge Elite E5. This bike comes in at a modest $1,700. Now, for a $1,700 price tag, you get the aluminum frame, carbon fork, you've got through axles, front and rear, you've got a 2x10 Shimano GRX drivetrain. This is similar to the last bike I just talked about, but it's got the lower end GRX group set, which is still the gravel specific group set on a freaking gravel bike. So that makes sense, right? There is a lot of mounts, but there's not actually eyelets on the rear triangle of the bike for attaching a rear rack. Now there's ways to attach a rear rack. You can, do one of the seat post clamp deals or whatever, but it's just gonna take a little bit more finagling and finding the correct rack. So the next bike on the list, and this is kind of the most shocking bike on this list to me. This is the Giant Revolt Advanced 3. I don't own a bike from this company, but they're a huge company, and there's a lot of retailers that sell these bikes. They're also an awesome value brand because I just learned this, they manufacture all of their frames in-house. Their frames are not outsourced. A lot of the parts they put on their bikes are manufactured in-house. So I knew these were a great value bike, but I had to do a double take when I saw this. This bike comes in at $1,850. And now when I'm doing my research, I started looking at the frame and I realized I'm looking at a full carbon frame for $1,850. Carbon frame, carbon fork, full carbon for under $2,000. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, what's the catch here? The catch is this comes with a 2x11 full Tiagra, Shimano Tiagra group set. Tiagra is one of Shimano's lower end group sets. I was kind of disappointed in this, but it's got through axles front and rear. It's got hydraulic disc brakes. This is the only bike on this list that is a full carbon bike, and that blows my mind for under $2,000. So for under $2,000, you get a really sweet frame. You can ride the crap out of those Tiagra components, and then eventually you can upgrade to GRX or whatever down the road. So that's cool. Giant does use a smart mount system. It's got little covers down by the rear chainstay that you can pull off and you can actually clip in a rack. But overall, man, for $2,000, under $2,000, you get a full carbon frame, and that's crazy to me. So the last bike on this list, rounding out this list of awesome bikes, is the Trek Checkpoint ALR 4. Now, Trek, I think this may be the most versatile bike on this list, and I only say that because I've actually seen videos, YouTube videos, of people doing fully loaded tours on this bike. Once again, like the other bikes on this list, except for the Giant, this is an aluminum frame with a carbon fork. For $1,700 bucks, you get a bike with through axles front and rear. You get a full Shimano 2x10 GRX drivetrain, Shimano GRX hydraulic disc brakes, and you get a bike that has a crazy amount of mounts. Those little mounts, those little eyelets I like on the back of the bike that you can attach your rack, it's got that. Guys, I really appreciate you checking out the video. I don't know everything there is to know about bikes. I enjoy riding bikes. I like doing a little bit of research on bikes. This is my opinion, take it for what it's worth. The thing is about the 5 bikes on this list is these are all 5 bikes from really big companies. So the chances are your local bike shop or a bike shop in your area is gonna carry one of these brands. So it's really always a good idea before you buy a bike to test ride the bike and kind of get a better feel for if it fits you and how it rides and whatnot. But either way, I don't think you guys can go wrong with any of the bikes on this list. If you have questions, hit me up on Instagram. I'll tag my Instagram on the screen right now and in the description below. Hit me up in the comments below. I love trying to answer questions the best I can. I love talking bikes, and I appreciate you guys watching. So guys, remember, if you have not already done so for some reason, hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Have a good one.